Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday. I've got some pretty good news to talk about, and that news is related to the Doomsday Heist. And you might be saying, what's the Doomsday Heist? Or you might be saying, I know what that is, you don't have to worry about it. Grand Theft Auto Online has these missions in them called heists, and they're basically big, grandiose missions that involve multiple people, 4 people specifically, and they take a long time to do. They're very difficult, but if you pull them all off, not only do you get a bunch of interesting story stuff, but you get a pretty big payout because GTA Online has its own currency. Rockstar really wants you to buy their shark cards, which cost you human dollars, so you can get in-game dollars. It's microtransaction city. And the heists were released a few years ago, so people could play all of this extra DLC. It was really good DLC. Me and Alex and Taylor and Dan played through all of it. We released it onto Steven Plays, and we really enjoyed it. Then, all of those heists came out at once, like 2 years ago, and then a few months ago, they released a new heist called the Doomsday Heist. And this thing was a big deal. Apparently, it takes a long, long time, has a good payout, it's really cool, and people were talking about it. And we were also getting a lot of questions about the fact that since we had covered all these other heists, were we going to be doing Doomsday? So I asked Alex, Taylor, and Dan, and they said, sure, we'll do it, but of course setting something up with everyone is really difficult, so we didn't get around to it until today. And I'm excited because, check it out, it's still light outside. We did it in the afternoon. We got started recording at 1 p.m. Eastern, which was 10 a.m. for Taylor, and it took about 4 hours, but we recorded all of Act 1. Act 1 of 3. Like I said before, it's really long DLC. But there was one thing that was decidedly different this time around from the other heists. Besides the fact that now we're playing on PC and it looks good as compared to when we played it on Xbox 360 and it looked like hot garbage. The big thing is now it costs money. A lot of money. Like a whole lot of money. In-game currency, although, let's be honest, if you don't have it, then you'll have to dish it out with real human dollars. So back in the day when the heists originally came out, the only thing that you had to have in order to play them was a high-end apartment. I had one at the time. I think it cost me $400,000 in-game dollars. From here on out, all the money I'll be talking about is just in-game. So spent $400,000 in-game dollars, had an apartment already. Heist update came out. That's all you had to have to do it. People come over to your apartment, you plan out the heist, you do it, you distribute the money, cool. Fun missions, really enjoyed them. Well, since that time, the landscape of Grand Theft Auto Online has changed pretty drastically. The economy has changed pretty drastically in-game. Everything has gotten way, way, way more expensive. You could call that partially due to Rockstar's greed, if you want. And it's definitely true, Grand Theft Auto Online is microtransaction city. They are trying to earn your money, your actual money, with these in-game currency purchases. And the economy really has changed a lot, because it used to be that if you had $1 million, that was like, what? That's a ton of cash. What? You could buy anything. Now, that's not true at all. In fact, there's plenty of vehicles and properties and whatever that cost several $1 million. You may have seen in one of the Steven Plays episodes, I have like a flying motorcycle. It's really cool. It was also like $3 million. So everything has changed, like a lot. Even like the clothing and stuff has changed. Now some of the clothing options are like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, if you want a shirt, it might cost as much as a car, which is insane. But over the years, since that heist update, things have been changing. There's been more and more properties added for more and more specialty missions. There's been motorcycle clubs. There's been business things. There's been other crap. And we lead up to this Doomsday Heist, which requires you to buy something very separate from your apartment called a facility. Well, guess how much these facilities are? Well, they start around $2 million. And as a little bonus, the facilities and all the properties that you buy You can buy a few of them. Like they're all over the map. You can choose where you want this facility to go. They are more expensive the closer you get to the city, which makes sense, but it also serves a purpose to the game. A lot of the missions that you're going to be carrying out are in the city. So if you want to save time, and it's a lot of time that you will save, then you have to buy something close to the city. But if you want to save money, like I wanted to do, then you head north, away from the city. And I actually got the cheapest facility that I could, which is up in Paleto Bay. It is literally the northernmost point on the map. And I mean, I saved money, but I still ended up spending over $2 million. If you want to get closer to the city, you're going to be spending double that, if not triple that. There's also a bunch of luxury options that you can adjust to make things look a certain way, etc. Specialty rooms you can add. And I added a few of those because it was cheaper for me up there. But, you know, down in the city, it's going to be even more expensive. The other thing is I actually bought it on sale because Rockstar has sales that they do on properties and cars and things like that. So I got it when it was 40% off. Again, I still spent like $2 million, so it's crazy. Anyway, we finally got everyone together to record today, which was exciting. We go into the facility. We're getting a tour of everything. It's like, oh, it's really cool. We walk up to the screen where we're going to start the heist, and it says, if you want to start the heist, you have to be a VIP, a CEO, or a motorcycle club president. And I'm like, why? Why do I need to? Because all of those things require special properties. And all of those properties are like $1 million. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I still had money, which was good, but it was kind of upsetting. It's like, oh, we can't even play this yet. So on my phone, standing in this room, I call up, or I go online and find the properties that are around the area. I find a really cheap clubhouse to become a motorcycle club president. I become a motorcycle club president by spending another few $100,000, and then we can start the heist. And then when we choose to start the heist, it says, well, in order to start the heist, it's going to cost you $65,000. And I'm like, why? What is this facility for? The facility is to start the heist. I spent $2 million so we could start the heist. No. $65,000. I said, okay, $65,000. So we get to the next screen. On the next screen, there are setup missions, which there's always been for the heist. You have to collect like a certain vehicle to be able to use it, right? So you might have to go get a special helicopter. Well, the way that it has always worked is you would do a mission to go get the helicopter, and then you could do a mission with said helicopter. This time, things are a little different. You can do it that way, or you can just buy it with the in-game currency. And you might be saying, oh, well, you should just do it the old way. That's what I was thinking until I found out that this little tidbit had changed. Now, you have to do it in a public session. Now, when we do all of this heist stuff, we do it in an invite-only session, so it's just the four of us. So there's not a bunch of random people just doing God knows what all over the map while we're trying to play the game. But part of this heist setup is now to go into a public session and deal with that garbage. And I'm sorry, but it's garbage. I've been in public sessions. They're terrible, especially on PC, where cheating is rampant. Sometimes it's like the good kind of cheating, where people are just giving out money for no reason. Other times, it's a terrible type of cheating where people are flying through the air with fire coming out of their heels, striking you down like God. And I didn't really want to try and do these heist setup missions with God everywhere. So I opted to just pay. It seemed infinitely better than doing it in a public session. But when I chose to pay, which was on the first of three, $94,000, keep in mind all the stuff I've already bought. After I chose, to go through with that, it was like, just to let you know, this will block you from getting all of the bonus cash. Because there's bonus cash. If you go through the heist in order, you get a bonus. If you go through it with the same four people, which we have, you get a bonus. I've gone through all of the heists with Alex, Dan, and Taylor, and we were doing this one with them as well. And I was like, that sucks, because I want the bonus cash, but I'm not willing to go to a public lobby. I'm not willing to put myself through that crap, because ultimately, it'll probably take longer. We'll ultimately probably lose money from doing it that way, because they'll just, people just flying around in jets will destroy our crap. So I paid for it. Then we got to do the mission. And it was fun. The missions are fun. They're always fun. But it just sucks because there's so much. The game has changed so much. And you could argue that it was like that before, and you're not wrong. But it's gotten worse. In order to do things, it costs an exceptional amount of money. And it used to be an exceptional amount of money. Now it's an insane amount of money. If you're starting from nothing, it's hard to get up here. You have to play the game a ton. We've been playing for years, and that's the reason we have as much money in the game as we do, but it's taken years. And I've spent a lot of it just in the past 24 hours. So I like Doomsday Heist so far, and we've only completed Act 1 of 3. And there was a payout at the end of the first heist finale, although it didn't even cover the setup costs that I spent on the heist itself. So, like, it's fun, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of playing with a smaller group. Like, just playing with Dan Taylor and Alex is nice as compared to normal GTA Online episodes where it's like 12 people and it's madness. So I've enjoyed it, but dang, GTA Online has changed. And not necessarily for the better. There's cool stuff. There's cool toys. They've done all sorts of really interesting things. Getting a chance to play with the DeLorean car today, it hovers over water, it can fly into the air. Like, it's so cool. But it's also one of those things, like, in order to have any of this stuff, you either have to treat the game like a second job, or you have to play forever, which is, I guess, the same thing, or you have to give them your actual money. And that sucks. It really sucks, especially because people have been clamoring for single-player DLC forever, and you know it's never going to happen. I love Rockstar, and I love their games, and I love their attention to detail, but this is definitely one of those things where, you know, I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough money to finish doing the heists. You know, what if I get to a setup fee and it's a $1 jillion? I don't have $1 jillion, and I know it's not going to pay out at the end. We're going to keep going because we've started it. We've done Act 1 of 3. We're going to record Act 2 on Friday. And like I said, I legit have had fun with it, but I like it, but I also hate everything that surrounds it. There's good stuff in GTA Online, but there's so much bullcrap that you just have to dig through to get to that good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Just wanted to vent about that because, like I said, the actual game is fun, but the amount of stuff you have to do to get to the fun is insanity. And I'm kind of glad that our normal GTA Online is just like everyone dicks around and jumps into traffic, and that's the show, because that is free and that is enjoyable, instead of trying to dig through all of this stuff to get to the part where you're like, okay, wow, this was worth it. Because by the time you get there, you're like, I don't know if it was actually worth doing all this stuff. Talk about GTA Online. Or the heists if you've done them. They're fun. If you can get to the fun. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?